In the previous module, we talked about how an editor can use synchronous sound to focus a viewer's attention on specific parts of the story and the scene. In this module, we'll be looking at 4 ways that you can use asynchronous or off-screen sound to tell rich and compelling stories. Now, there's only so much storytelling you can do with picture alone. Sound is often needed to clarify the meaning of a moment and provide contextual detail about the environment surrounding the characters. Sometimes, it won't even be possible to convey certain information without sound. For example, is that character just upset? Or upset and up to something? Is the weather outside warm and pleasant? Or hot and stifling? Your choice of sounds can dramatically affect not only the tone and emotion of a scene, but will also determine how well your audience understands the plot as it unfolds. Over the next few lessons, we're going to explore 4 ways that you can use asynchronous or off-screen sound in your cuts. First, you can use it throughout a film to motivate drama and pull the viewer forward in the story. Second, you can use asynchronous sound to create humor. Third, you can use asynchronous sound to simulate the supernatural. And fourth, you can use it to share very specific plot details with your audience. The really special thing about cutting asynchronous sound is that you're completely free of the sound-image connection. Your imagination can run wild, and your only limitation is staying true to the story the film is trying to tell. Alright, so let's begin with using off-screen sound to motivate drama. Motivating drama with sound is all about timing. Just as a character would react or respond to the dialogue of another character, they can react and respond to off-screen sound, affecting their actions, expressions, thoughts, and words. It's a cause and effect relationship that exists between the characters and their world. Sometimes, this sound is written into the script as an actual event in the scene, like in this example from the 2007 film No Country for Old Men.
Do you have any idea how crazy you are?
You mean the nature of this conversation?
I mean the nature of you. You could have the money, Anton.
In this case, the sound written into the script was the phone ringing, followed by Wells looks at the phone, Chigurh hasn't moved. Wells looks at Chigurh, waiting for a decision, the low chug of the shotgun. The phone sound, which began as a startling off-screen noise, became the driver of the drama that followed. Here's another example of an off-screen sound that was written into a script to motivate the drama of a scene. This is from the 2007 film Atonement. The off-screen sound in this case is the buzzing of a wasp. You can see that it was specifically written into the script as a method of attracting the character's attention and drawing her to the window. Once there, she'll see her older sister flirting with a boy she has a crush on, which provides the foundation for conflict later in the film. Notice how the buzzing noise almost becomes part of the score as it comes and goes throughout the cut. At the end, it increases in volume, building tension into the climax of the scene, at which point it disappears completely. The buzzing of the wasp is the off-screen sound that initiates this chain of events, and it was deliberately added into the cut by the editor, per the instructions of the script. In examples like these, when your asynchronous sound is written into the script, your job as an editor is straightforward. It's basically paint by number. Just add the sound that the character is supposed to hear, and you're done. Someone else has already done the thinking about how the sound will serve as a storytelling cue and impact the world of the characters. Your biggest task is to make sure the sound feels like it's existing within the actual environment, which is usually accomplished with a bit of EQ work and a touch of very subtle reverb if the space calls for it. But sometimes your job isn't so easy. Sometimes off-screen sounds are not written into the script. Maybe the sounds are very subtle, or maybe they're needed more by the audience than by the characters in the film. Sometimes their purpose is to communicate something directly with the viewers themselves. Let's look at an example of using subtle off-screen sound to capture the attention of the viewer and clue them into what's happening. Here we have another moment from the film Atonement. The character Bryony is reading from a play she's written. While she's reading, another character, whom you might know better as Theon Greyjoy, enters the room, interrupting the reading.
This is the tale of spontaneous Arabella, who ran away with an extrinsic fellow. It grieved her parents to see their firstborn evanesce from her home to go to Eastbourne. Yes.
Nothing. Just thought I'd watch.
Based on the angle at which he's entering, Bryony can see him, but the viewer cannot. He's behind our field of vision. The addition of the creaks in the floor planks as he approaches,
Parents to see their firstborn evanesce from her home to go to Eastbourne.
and finally the squeak of the door as it opens,
Yes.
do a good job creating the disruptive moment from the vantage point of the female character. The audience is told with sound what the character in the film is experiencing visually. In addition to keeping the viewer informed, sound cues like these will go a long way in smoothing out the transitions between shots and scenes, making the cut flow all that much more smoothly. Always remember that you have this tool at your disposal. These little touches are deceptively simple and can easily be left out, most of the time to the detriment of the final product. In this lesson, we explored how you can use off-screen or asynchronous sound to motivate drama, either by informing the character, the viewer, or both. We looked at examples of asynchronous sound that were written into the script itself, and also examples of sound that were added by the editor for the purpose of clarifying the moment. Coming up in the next lesson, we'll look at how you can use asynchronous sound to create humor and simulate the supernatural. Alright, I'll see you in a bit.